Good morning and welcome to the American Dream Connection. I got it before you. Go.
Wow, that was powerful. You're on it today.
Yeah,
Are you excited?
I'm Mike Mina. What's your name?
Amy Atkins.
Amy Atkins.
I'm just here for the fun. Yeah, we are here to tell you about all things real estate, mortgage, and buying a home related. And so, anyway, let's get right into it, Mike. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay, so here's the question. Interest rates went up a little bit.
Just a tad.
What does that mean?
So rates this year have gone from 3% or in the last 12 months, probably 2.5% up over 7% now. What does that mean? That means that we have stalled on the price increases for the most part. We have seen some adjust a little bit, but people aren't really adjusting as much as you would think. And the reason for that is just the fact that there's really no inventory going on right now.
Why did they raise rates?
Well, we've got inflation. We've got issues in Europe. We've got the fact that, inflation is really kicking our butt, plus what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. I think all of that added up, and all the countries are struggling coming out of COVID right now with inflation. So I think that's maybe the main reasons.
Okay, so I'm a person out there wanting to buy, and I'm watching the news, which we all know the headlines are like, duh, bad, not good, sky's falling, everything's crashing, don't do anything. The housing market is gonna blow up. I'm a buyer. I'm sitting back and I'm watching those headlines. Should I still buy now?
I think this is a perfect opportunity to buy. And I've told you that I bought 3 houses in the last 45 days. One's a flip, 2 are for long-term holds. The reason for that is because I believe this market right now is at a low level, even though it seems like we're at a high level. And you can get a deal here or there, not necessarily a great deal, but you can get something that's a little bit off of the regular price that we had 6 months ago. What's going to happen is we're in these high interest rate environment. Rates are at the highest point in 20 plus years. But what we're seeing is this is not a long-term interest rate hike that rates are going to go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They might go 7 to 8, and then they might come back down into the 6s or the 5s. When that happens, that makes that price a bargain. And when people start seeing rates in the 5s and the 4s again, prices are going to go
Okay, so I got to ask you. So today, we're looking at fall 2022. I'm looking at buying at here, and I'm seeing my interest rate here. Is there a chance that I'll still be better off because the interest rates could come down later versus me waiting, like a lot of people think they should do?
Right. I mean, what do they say? They say you marry your home and you just date your mortgage.
Yes, I heard that. I love that.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a great one there. So, and again, so that's something that you would do. You would go ahead, you get into the house, you struggle along with that payment. I mean, I've got a couple of options here. Oh, I'm a family that can't afford their house. I can't buy my $800,000 house anymore. Well, okay, what did you need that 2,600 square foot house for? Go buy the 1,400 square foot or put a little less down, buy that property today, and then in a year you can go ahead and buy the bigger, better one and refinance the other one, the house that you bought now, if that's what you want to do, if you want to take a chance. I think the market's going to go up. So when prices start to increase, once interest rates start to come down, prices will go this way. And what's going to happen? You're going to end up with the same payment. We're basically a higher payment today than what we had in January, and people are still doing it. And the market is still vibrant, or was still vibrant a month ago. Now we go to 7, which is a newfound thing. We've only been here for a day. I don't really know what it feels like. It's like going to a new school, which I don't know anything about because I always went to the same
Well, it's
one.
almost like the heat got turned up a little bit, and when that happens, people kind of do this, but it's still a good time. I mean, it sounds like it's still a great time to invest because it's a long-term investment. It's not a short-term thing. So in the long term, we're looking at being able to refinance later because chances are the rates will come back down.
Yeah, I think that if you bought today and you look ahead 18 months, you're going to go, oh my God, this was probably the best thing I did. I was nervous as heck. But I remember buying my first stock. I remember buying my first house. I remember buying everything because I'm cheap. But I remember all of that stuff because it's important. Those are investments and you're afraid to make a mistake. And now it's like, you know what, I'd buy a house tomorrow if it was the right house for the right price with the right renter.
Do you sit in front of people and tell them this kind of advice when they meet with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we go over things. The other thing I think that's really super important if you buy, and I put this in my blog today, $1 million property with a 750 mortgage, you can have a payment plus or minus $6,100 a month. Your tax deduction for the principal and interest, or just the interest portion, is about $55,000. You're going to get to write off your property taxes of about $10,000. Between those two, it's about $65,000. You're going to get, say, plus or minus 1/4 of that back, $14,000, $15,000, $16,000 back at the end of the year. that might be $1,300 a month. So your $6,100 payments really like $4,800 in rent, plus you're paying off $500 a month. Just keep adding it up, and then you look at the appreciation long term. It's going to cost you $700-800 a month to own a house, versus if you rent, you're going to pay $5,000 a month for that same
Well, that's
rental.
kind of what you do when you sit down with people
Yeah.
and we've done it, on paper too, but you call it the true cost of home ownership.
Right, and the true cost is really an important thing. And then when you go and refi, all of a sudden that payment drops $1,000. You're like, whoa, I saved $1,000 a month. What can I go do? Well, most of my clients, you know what they'll do? They're really smart. They go out and buy a car. No, I'm just kidding.
No, no, don't go buy a car. Depreciable item. Okay, so fast forward. It's still a good time to buy. Stay away from the headline, right? Look at
Yes.
the reality of things. And they should absolutely get with someone like you that can kind of explain all this
Well,
as to the reality of why they should buy now. Because you said something about even lumber prices being down.
Yeah, oh no, lumber prices are down. They're at pre-pandemic lows. So they've dropped 70%, I guess, over the last couple of months. So it's going to help builders build, but it's going to be 18 months, 2 years down the road before builders are building. It doesn't mean that builders are going to build in this economy, because other things are still expensive, but those things will probably start to come down now that we're away from the pandemic issues of what was causing the prices to go up. There's one other thing I was going to say, and I think it's really important. If I'm looking at a house today, look at the payment that you can afford, and you adjust your purchase price by that. Okay? Just look at what you can afford to pay. Let's sit down and look at that number, and you buy today, and then trust me, I'll go over everything about financing and renting and buying another property, and we'll look at another one tomorrow. You're not going to buy one house and live in one house. Nobody ever does that. And if you're looking to move up today, great. I still think there's a great opportunity. Maybe we hold that house with a 2.75% interest. I know real estate agents are getting upset. No, we want to list as much as we can. Let's get these people in that move. And what I say in that meeting the other day, I says, how many people do you know with one tattoo?
Yes.
Okay.
You did say that.
I did. And
And
I think we had 2 people in the whole
two
room.
people raised their hand.
2 people in the whole room. And then
Yes.
how about how many people with multiple tattoos?
Oh my gosh,
There was
hands
like
went up.
40 people
Yep.
raised their hands. And I said, tattoos are like owning rental properties. Rental properties are the same thing. Nobody owns one rental property. They own 2, 3, 4, 10. So don't get mad at me if they keep that primary residence. Talk to them about keeping that primary residence, holding that as a rental, moving up, and having 5 or 6 rental properties. You will thank me later. They will thank me later. They will thank you later, and they will refer you multitudes of people.
And that was a really interesting analogy, tattoos, but it did work.
But it's true.
But it is, yeah, it did work. So they can get in front of you, call you, sit down, beware of the headlines. People, please, I mean, it's like the headlines are not good, but they need the reality, which is coming from someone like you.
Yeah,
So
someone
thanks for
like me.
watching. Share the information, buyers, sellers, clients, whatever. Guys, it's so important you get this kind of information out to people because this is the truth.
The truth.
So
Okay.
thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on The American Dream Connection.
Thanks, guys.